I told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, where we will be covering the Married at First Sight Season 16 Reunion Part 1 of 11D. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. Along with me, my co-host, Aysha Welch, who, I consulted with a prophet about whether or not we should keep continuing this podcast and continuing to cover this season. And he told me I have to be selfish and think about myself. And I decided I like podcasting this person so much that I'd keep going on. So Aysha, you're in luck. My prophet led me in the right direction to continue this podcast. How are you doing, Aysha?
Whew, I was worried.
Yeah,
I'm doing fine. It could go either way. When you're choosing yourself.
Yeah, you have to be selfish at some point. You just have to be.
Exactly.
We spent this whole relationship being selfless, just thinking about you, never thinking about myself. I just had to take account and say, what should I do for me?
Right.
About me in this moment.
Yeah, when you spent time with your family, when you were at work events, when you went to the gym, you were thinking about me.
Yeah, exactly. It was all for you.
As they always say, when emotions are high, intelligence is low.
Hey, that's what they always say. As the so popular catchphrase that everyone says out there.
Oh, Gina said, okay, before I go on this reunion where emotions are high, okay, I've got to bring that out at some point.
Show me her arm. It was written on her arm. She's like, you know what they say, Kevin. When emotions are high, intelligence is, what is that? The sweat. Oh, low. That intelligence is low. That's what it is. Yes.
Goodness. Oh my gosh.
So listen, I mean,
why are we here? What are we here to talk about?
Okay, y'all. Look, listen. Go back and listen to our last podcast 2 weeks ago of the third post decision day episode, and you got it. That's Aysha, you want to tell us what's going on with you, and we can wrap this up. Give your plugs. We'll get out of here. Literally. No real new information in this reunion whatsoever. There was no in the lead up to this. There wasn't even really anything we had to really answer. We didn't have any couples that were like, are they going to be still together by reunion? Because everyone except Chris and Nicole, who we all knew would still be together by reunion, we really had no question. I guess the biggest question I had in my mind was, did Kirsten and Shaq, rekindle things?
Get back together? Yes.
Probably was the biggest question, which was not even that great of a question, right?
It was all based on they are both in yellow gold.
Yeah, why are they matching? That makes me nervous.
Exactly.
I guess it was either a coincidence or Shaq's like, no, girl, I need to know what you are wearing because we will be matching.
Right. I'm gonna go coincidence. Doesn't help Nicole's case with thinking that they're a match made in heaven. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're here to talk about part 1 of the reunion. This is our first time having a reunion after 3 post-decision day episodes, and it's proved to be unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary. And then,
imagine.
And then, so I was going on in my fun little reality, right? Of saying, we got 2 more episodes left for the season. After the reunion part 2, we're going to be done with the season because, there's no Where They Now special because, the reunion is kind of the Where They Now special, right? Like in the past season, we said this was unnecessary. Yeah, we had gotten a little schedule that said reunion part 2, seemingly to be the last episode of the season. I'm in my happy little reality thinking that. I'm in my little bubble. And then my reality just comes crashing down. We get a new updated schedule of a Where Are They Now special. Why?
We've really got to know, where are they really?
Release us, MAFS. Let us go. Stop holding me prisoner.
Right, I can't get out. It's like I made this commitment. You like, I was gonna say, it's like you get into this relationship, right? And then you get engaged. And now like everybody knows, you've already invited everybody to the wedding, but you're not feeling it anymore. But like, what do you do?
I'm not really sure how that compares to our situation. I wasn't really feeling that metaphor.
Made
But-
perfect sense for me.
I guess how do we Irish goodbye this season? Just kind of walk away.
We just let this one be the last one.
Yeah,
We don't cover
if y'all don't hear from us again this season, if y'all don't hear from us until July, you'll know why.
Oh my god!
Next week we'll have gotten on StreamYard and be like, do we need to do this? Not really. Let's just. Will anyone notice? Will anyone say anything if we don't have a podcast? I don't think so. We had several people in the Facebook group telling us to protect our peace and not to even bother with the Where Are They Now special. But I do feel like we have some sort of commitment to you, the audience, to give you the complete story of the season, which will unfortunately include this Where Are They Now special. So we will have something for the Where Are They Now special. We cannot guarantee, we cannot promise that's going to be our typical full episode, just because I don't feel like there's going to be any real new information here. I feel like we'll get more awkward dates. We'll get the journey of Nicole changing her last name, and I don't know what else they can really offer us that will be worth a full episode of.
Right. Maybe they found someone for Kirsten to go on a date with.
Yeah, Kirsten and Shaq are going to go on their dates. Shaq's going to go on his date in Austin and talk about how, he has changed so much with his therapy and his self-awareness and whatever. But yeah, we will have something. I can't promise you it's a full something, but we'll have something.
Yes, we will give you the highlights.
Yes.
So you still don't have to watch. But we are going to, in addition to part 1 of the reunion, we are going to talk a little bit about the cast tell-all from last week. So sit tight. But first, we want to make sure that y'all go out there and join our Facebook group. Look up A Perfect Match podcast. We are going to continue to have things to talk about into next season. So definitely go join. It's not too late just because this season is ending. Come join us. Have a great time talking about the show with a community of people who also have a love-hate relationship with this show. So this week, the password is
the prophet. We all need that prophet in our lives to tell us to make bad decisions and to only think of ourselves. That is what prophets usually tell you. Only think of yourself. Never think of anyone else.
Yeah.
That's typically what they say, right?
Right. It's like this prophet just can come into your life and make you do something you completely don't want to do, even though you have total control over your decisions.
Even though you have a mind of your own.
Oh, man. So also, we want to make sure that you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of the podcasts for A Perfect Match, as well as our coverage of The Ultimatum, Queer Love, The Other Ultimatum, Love is Blind, Perfect Match. We're building up some shows on this feed, y'all. So make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, where it can be a one-stop shop for all of those shows. Leave us a 5-star rating and review, and we will really appreciate it. We want to shout out a couple this week, which are pretty amazing reviews, I must say. So this first review is from Marina, spelled with a Y. It's titled "They hit the bullseye every time." Jason and Aysha are a joy to listen to. I will definitely miss listening to them as the show finally winds down. Their POVs are always insightful to hear. I love that Jason brings in the POV of a married man and Aysha brings in the POV of the strong independent woman that she is. I also learned a ton of pop culture references that went completely over my head while watching the show. Had no idea what a snowflake or big head meant. Thanks for explaining. Whenever Pepper and Cinnamon join the show, either by someone mentioning them, their adorable picture in the background, or if we get to see them real quick, I lose my mind like Hank seeing Clint. Big things come from small beginnings. So I dare you to watch YouTube or listen to this podcast ASAP. Side note, I got the pleasure of meeting Aysha last year in Houston at the Bryson Wynn Presents Survivor Party. Aysha was gracious, kind, and as fun to be around in person as she is on the show. I hope Jason makes it out there to one of these viewing parties someday too. Let's have a MAFS viewing party. How amazing was that?
Fantastic. I'm glad she got to meet you in person to experience your essence there in person. Listen, mass viewing party, I'm not mad at it. If you Twitter to our big boss, Rob Sestrino, at Rob Sestrino, and say, get Jason and Aysha a mass viewing party. If enough people say it, maybe he'll pay for us to meet up at somewhere to do a mass viewing party, and you all can come. That's kind of the only way it's going to happen, because unlike Aysha Welch, I don't fly on private jets to places. So I need someone to pay for my plane ticket. But yeah, listen, if you want it to happen, let the big boss know. But that's up to y'all.
Yes, thank you so much for this amazing review, Marina.
Yes, so good. The review I am going to do is from A.A. Lex, 1995. It's titled "They Make the Show." This is the first time I've seen a full season of MAFS, and unfortunately, it's the most boring. However,
you're saying, unfortunately, it's the last.
Unfortunately. However, I stay watching because of Jason and Aysha. I watched this unnecessarily long and tedious season just to listen to their hilarious commentary. They are so funny and on point with their reviews of the cast. Love them. We love you too, Alex. And yes, this is the longest season ever. Yeah. And it's not at all justified. I can see if they had this banger of a season they had in Canada, like, we gotta continue this. We have to just stretch this out as much as we can. But no, y'all picked the most boring season to stretch out as long as you can. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I totally could understand if I said this in the Facebook group. I was like, if 5 couples said yes, I get it. You want to follow that what unfolds from there.
Mm-hmm. See who breaks up.
Yeah, we're dealing with 1 of 5 barely hanging on. You're hanging on to people rekindling. No, they're done.
I just feel like those post-decision day episodes, where are they now special? What else are you going to show us? You showed us everything in those 3 post-decision day episodes that we need to see from them. The singles are dating, the married couples are marrying, are being old married couples. Yes. What else do you have to show us? What else could there be?
I don't know.
Man, I'm just so distraught. But hey, we'll make it work. We'll make it entertaining. We'll make it fun, as we like to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely do enjoy these podcasts more than my experience watching the show.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how long I would have made it through this season if it wasn't for us doing the podcast.
I think about that sometimes, like with this being the 5th one that I've covered. I'm like, which of these would I have fallen off on?
I mean, I think of, because you and Amy started with 12.
12, yes.
I don't think I would have fallen off on any of them except for this one, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Because I'm the only one I'm kind of hesitant about was Houston, but I think I still was invested in a couple of the couples just to see like what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And there was entertainment, there was drama, and like that's what I think that's what this one is lacking. Like, not only did they not make it, but they're also just, there's no drama.
These people are too nice to each other. Like,
yeah, you have beef with Mac. No, he's not gonna give you anything back.
It's all fake niceness. Yeah. You know that behind the scenes, they're all talking trash about one another, and they just don't want to say it on camera. They're all too worried about their image. We have to fix that, MAFS. We have to get people that are willing to to get down in the dirt, get down in the mud, and sling. We sling insults, drama. We want drama. That's part of what we want. We want love, but we also want drama. Like I always say, I'm here for 80% mess and 20% love.
Yeah. So yeah, last week was the cast tell all. We had an all-star lineup. I guess
All-star.
Yeah, no, MAFS probably thought so.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Without Lindsay, this would have totally tanked.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of people from past seasons. So like Henry. And if you haven't watched these past seasons, this might be tough. I would say just skip forward like 10 minutes. But we had Henry, we had Tristan, we had Shanice and Jeff D, we had
Kristen.
Steve, we had Kristen, we had Steve and Mindy, and we had Lindsay.
Yeah, of course. Lindsay was the star of the show. There's no way that you can deny that. Lindsay and her drama was the entertainment here.
Lindsay and her, I don't even know if you can call it just delusion that like Steve cares about anything that she has going on.
Yeah, that's the thing with Lindsay. She always brings the beef further than it needs to be because these people, Alyssa, Steve, they're not thinking about Mark, they're not thinking about her in their everyday lives until she brings the beef on social media or on one of these specials. Their lives are fine. Steve's life is fine. He's not up at night thinking about Lindsay and thinking about his vendetta against Lindsay, the way Lindsay thinks of her vendettas against all of her opponents, all of her enemies.
It's like she knew one thing that Noi probably told her, and she just completely just like labeled Steve a liar. She already thought he was a liar because of the money thing. And so she just took this too far. It's like, y'all don't need beef. Y'all don't need to hate each other. You don't even need to interact.
You're a lying piece of trash.
It's like,
oh my gosh.
Like, why? What are you doing? Why is this happening?
Like,
I'm a little confused.
This guy over here is just a lying piece of trash. I don't respect him. He wants women to pay his bills. I haven't done my Lindsay voice in a while, so I don't even know if I'm being accurate. But it was something else. And the storm off right before Lindsay, we're going to break. Can you relax for a second? Like, can we? She heard the host, I think her name was Monique, say, we're getting ready to go to break. Lindsay, oh, I don't have time. I've been blindsided. Chris is like, that's my line.
She's like, I'm not gonna get another opportunity if Steve walks off the stage.
Don't finish that sentence. I have to run off before you throw it to commercial.
Yeah,
for maximum impact.
And she said she is in a relationship now. But she spent so much time talking about Mark. Mark still hits me up. I have to tell Mark to do this, and trying to make it seem like Mark is still obsessed with her. And I'm just like,
but Mark, why are you in any kind of communication with Lindsay? Right. I don't understand whatsoever why you would even want to still be in communication with this person. But listen, Steve is not blameless here, right? Right? Steve comes out after Lindsay's been trashing Mark, and he pokes the bear because Monique asked him, like, about all the, about Steve, what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I'll still talk to the guys. He lists all the guys. He's like, Mark, great guy. Basically, like looking at Lindsay. It's like,
He, at this point, as like, if I put myself in Steve's shoes, I know that I get under this woman's skin. And I know what she says back is not getting under my skin. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna do it, like just watch her get riled up.
With and Monique coming after Lindsay saying, be who, what did she say? Be who, be this Lindsay, be this vulnerable Lindsay. This Lindsay is still crazy. This Lindsay is still nuts and still willing to hurl barbs at anyone she can. And she's even hurling, insults at Chris from that season, who also is not there defending. She loves just throwing insults people that cannot defend themselves.
Yeah,
she just totally trashes Mark the whole time. Mark is just not there to defend himself at all. She talks about Chris dating one of her. She set Chris up with one of her friends, and Chris told the friend not to hang out with Lindsay. I would do the same thing. I'm like, listen, I can't,
He was like,
if you're
how
gonna keep hanging out
dare
with Lindsay, we
he?
can't keep doing this.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, Lindsay she made it her mission. She's like, I'm going to try to get people talking about me again.
Mhm.
And that's what
And
happened that night.
and she's always so quick to accuse people of searching for their 15 minutes of
Mhm.
fame. They're hungry to be on the show. Lindsay, you are the exact person you're talking about. You are here on the
Right.
show along with us. You are here,
You were
also searching
probably
for 15
of
minutes
the
of fame.
people that were there, the most hungry or the
The most,
hungriest.
the
Yeah.
most ready to make a spectacle, to make a entertainment moment. I mean, listen, she did that though. She did it.
Yeah, she literally, yeah, like you said. Now we're thinking, oh, what would it have been like if she weren't there? I don't
Right.
know.
Think about all the other segments. Did they offer really anything else?
No.
Yeah.
I loved the moment, and I posted in the Facebook group when Jeff D looked at the camera and was like,
Jeff D's facial expressions. Something that like Jeff D, Tristan, and Henry were good for were these quick little jabs
yeah,
from the side, every now and again. That's what they were good for in that context.
yeah,
I just
because nothing else. I mean,
looking back on it, I don't regret not doing a whole episode about it. I
right,
think this
same.
little section is fine because the Lindsay drama was the bulk of this.
It really
We
was
got the official announcement that Steve and Mindy are
dating. It's
dating,
new.
seeing each other, whatever you want to call it.
And the way that messed with my mind when she was like, "Oh, I moved to San Diego." I'm thinking, "Oh, perfect. That's where that's where Steve is."
Yeah,
And then like, "Oh no, Steve's in Boston." So I
Steve's
got
in
my seasons
Boston.
mixed up.
Kristen is now in Virginia.
Right.
Lindsay is now in California.
Yeah, they all just swapping coasts.
Yeah,
So now they're having to like make it work from Boston to San Diego, but he happened to be in town visiting her. Not
I'm
that
just
he knew that she was going to be on or anything.
and blindside Lindsay. No one. I wasn't told. They dropped this on me. But yeah, I'm glad Mindy has settled with a man she has chosen. She's seemingly had her choice of men throughout the MAFS catalog. We at one point thought that her and Ryan were a thing. I think she has definitely traded up to Zach from Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a cute couple. They are non-offensive. Both seem to be very kind of, I wouldn't say thirsty, but they are, I think, ready for social
Just
media, ready for to be
I
seen.
thought you were going ready for like just to be in a relationship.
I mean, I guess, but I do think that they both know that this is gonna do well for their social media presence. I think there's definitely a level of that. Um,
Probably.
Kristen with her revelation that Mark was DM stalking her,
Yeah.
sending her
She
messages.
waited until the show was over to respond to him.
Yeah, sending her messages constantly while the show was airing. I guess maybe even while it was filming.
Yeah.
So Mark. I posted a Facebook group for a shark. Mark is pretty thirsty.
I think the only other thing, like, we got to see that the show was good, actually a good thing for Shanice and Jeff D's relationship. Like, had it not been for the show, they probably wouldn't be together today. They said Dr.
Yeah,
Jessica was a huge part of just really sitting down and talking to them, and I didn't even connect the dots that like Jeff D would have known about Dr. Jessica and John being together like before the rest of us because they were on the same season.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was a huge thing to find out that like, yeah, we joke a lot about this show, but it helped them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that though. I could definitely see how first of all, being forced to kind of be in a relationship in a way helps you work it out because as I talk about all the time, people say, oh, it's gonna be so much easier when the cameras go away. Not necessarily. When the
Right.
cameras go away, you don't have that excuse to stay in each other's orbit. It would be so
Yeah.
easy to just drop things after the cameras leave because you don't have any real incentive or reason to stick around with each other. So I can definitely see how that was a thing. I enjoyed them talking about how their production team was like a family to them. They still talk to them, and how much they appreciate the process and appreciate the show.
Yeah, I was like those are all valid points. And it was funny how they were talking about how they forget they had to get used to not having a mic on. And I'm like, that's only 8 weeks. Imagine Big Brother, which is 3 months, where they also have that phantom like mic pack on.
Yeah, I wonder if they have like tan lines where their mic pack is, especially on Big Brother, where they spend so much time, in no shirts or bikinis for the women or whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised. Henry is in a relationship,
and
doing
he's happy.
The end.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's Henry's story,
right? I guess last but not least, we had Tristan, who is happy. He is crazy about his wife. He tried to make that very clear. He is crazy about his wife, and he is so happy in his relationship. Found out that Mia was doing more lying than he thought. And then the whole colorism debate, which I wasn't even aware of in real time. I don't believe I was as tuned in to like social media and people's reception of certain things on the show. But yeah, that really affected Tristan for people to have that impression based on what he said on the show. I still don't think he quite got it.
No, he definitely didn't get it. He definitely tried to explain it away, but his explain away didn't explain away. It did.
Yeah.
He's definitely guilty of it, I would say. I just kind of wish he would have. I wish he would have owned up to it a little bit. Like maybe he didn't realize how wrong that is.
It's almost like he could have treated it like a learning opportunity. Like, yeah, I said that, but I had no idea how that could be hurtful hearing on TV, or how prevalent that is in like the Black community. But instead, he took it as y'all didn't know what I was saying.
Well, and it turned into we all have preferences, right? Not realizing that colorism is more of a deeper issue of discrimination than saying I don't want someone that's taller or shorter than me. They're two totally different issues, and he didn't understand that. And Shanice chimes in, it's like, I know you're not family. Yeah, I know you're not that way. I've seen your family. What does that have to do with anything,
Shanice? What are you talking about? That's not what we're talking
about. You're not helping. You're not helping.
Because with that explanation from Shanice, that would be like, oh, he dates Black girls.
No, I have Black friends.
I've seen his Black family.
Yeah.
Which that's not the case. Like,
you have no control over that part. You have no control over who your family is. So that has nothing to do with who you would like to date.
Right. It's just
makes no sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it was whoa, what happened? It was sorry. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I still see.
Okay. My screen went out. So I felt like it was a good episode.
It was all right. It definitely, of course, as our common phrase here, it did need to be 2 hours.
Yes,
you could have done this in an hour and been good and gone. I did enjoy some of the. I wouldn't even necessarily call it behind the scenes talk about the actual filming of the show, how many hours they film, how filming works. I did enjoy that part of it, but I just didn't need it all. For sure. Could have cut Kristen out of this. Could have cut Henry out of this and made it a tight hour and be out of there.
I'm saying a little that could have been a real little quick check-in.
I did have a thought though. I had a thought, right? All this talk about who pays what, who didn't do what, who didn't chip in for what. I want to pitch. Lifetime. I know you're listening, you're watching, you're doing something. You're going to hear this. Give me a MAFS court.
Oh,
You,
yeah.
Lindsay, Mark, you each bring your receipts. I don't want to hear this vague talk. I want to see proof. Bring your receipts. One will be the plaintiff, one will be the defendant. And we will hash this all out. I want to see who paid for, I want to see everything. Steve, Noy, bring your bank statements. I want to see who paid for what. And yes, Lifetime, before you ask, Aysha and I will be the judges. Okay.
Right.
Or maybe Aysha can be the judge. I can be the wisecracking bailiff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, MAFS Court. Y'all love spinoffs. Do a spinoff of MAFS Court. Get these people in here that have two differing stories. Each brings in their proof. Each brings in their receipts, and we'll get to the bottom of this. We can have text threads. We can see who's talking to who. I'm here for it. I want it.
It would be like, Michael, did you have a job?
Yes. Show me those papers you were showing Mika and what exactly y'all were talking about.
Show me how you were able to know your take-home amount
Yeah.
from an offer letter.
What your tax takeouts would be. Show me exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Show me some yoga poses, Michael. I want to know that you're a yoga instructor.
Yeah, you are going to be speaking, when my mom sees this, you're speaking her language. She loves nothing more than a good court show.
Yes, I want to settle these disputes because I'm tired of all the one-sided stuff. Lindsay talking about, Mark only made $16,000 in that year. I want to see evidence. Bring in tax returns. I want to see them. I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what was there anything this season that anybody claimed?
Shaq went to therapy. I want to see the proof. No, I don't think so. Was there?
Yeah, there were no big lies. Look, they can't even deliver a lie.
No, they can't. This season was good for nothing. You didn't bring any drama that we need to resolve.
All right, let's talk about this part one.
Yeah, we're only 30 minutes in. Let's get to the actual show. Okay, so you start off, as we do most reunions, with everyone sitting on stage. Kevin welcomes them all in. We did a weird thing this reunion with, we're seeing the right before we go on, Kevin's like, all right, y'all ready to do this? Let's do this thing.
3, 2.
Why is Kevin counting us in? Are you the director, Kevin? 3, 2, 1, action. Everybody's ready?
Right.
Okay. So we start off with that. So Kevin, he introduces the thing. He says, Nashville was a wild ride, beginning to end. Who? What? Did you watch the show, Kevin? Did you watch? That tells you didn't watch.
Wild.
That tells you did not watch the show. So we get to the normal stuff. Kevin asks him, so you guys, how is it, being a normal person? And then all of a sudden you're on TV. We get talking, everyone talking about, yeah, it's so weird that when you get randomly approached by people. Kevin asks about DMs. Who's sliding DMs? Dom, how about you? Dom says, well, it's been mostly people that were unhappy with me. But I did get a few offers to send people cleavage pics for money. Oh, gross.
I was like, she's being overly honest in this moment for some reason.
Kev is shocked. Oh my God, people do that? Listen, I've always said I am more than prepared to sell some feet pics if anybody wants to buy them. I'm here for it. Kevin,
I feel like a foot is harmless.
Yeah, I can show you some leg. I can show you some thigh. I got a hand. I got tons of stuff for y'all. Just give me an offer. Shoot me an offer. I'll send whatever you want. Yeah. So Kevin says, "Oh, Jasmine, I hear people really wanted you to hook up with Gil." It's like, what? Who said that? I've never heard that at all this whole season. I've seen Gil and Kirsten. I have not seen Gil and Jasmine.
I know. I mean, maybe people have been hitting her up directly, or like maybe there was more footage when Dom brought up Gil and they were like, "Oh, Jasmine, you'd be great for Gil," that they didn't really include. But
Jasmine does not seem that enthused by the idea. She's like, "Yeah, I've heard that."
She got a man.
Dom pipes up and says, "Actually, me and Gil are pretty good friends now." Okay, Dom, sure.
Yeah.
That's what you want us to think. You totally rejected.
They're great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder what her standard for friendships like. We talked that one time and it was really good.
Yeah. He sent me an emoji.
Right.
We do find out that Clint has moved from the same building Gina was in to now he's moved to the same building Nicole and Chris now live in. Nicole says, yeah, he sometimes comes with me to the dog park. He makes us treats and brings them to us. We moved to Mac. Kevin says, Mac, you moved to Michigan. You have a house now? You're not living in someone's basement? Max says, no, I have a whole house, and I have a basement of my own now. Kevin says, that was what Dom was afraid of, right? That you were going to move. So is this kind of validating her fears? Max says, listen, my intent the whole time was to stay in Nashville, but with everything that happened, it just kind of inspired me to really kind of get out of Nashville and move away. Dom says, yeah, wasn't surprised at all. Knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
She's definitely taking this and running with it. I knew he was going to move, Kevin. I just knew it. He would have tried to make a move to Michigan as soon as we got married. I know.
Right.
Kevin also talks to Mac. So, Mac, you were pretty upset at one of the post-decision day episodes when Dom got a dog. Max says, listen, my response was totally out of anger. And basically says, as you're about to see, because he knows what's coming. He knows that Kevin's going to pull the clip out and show it to everybody. Kevin's like, oh, thanks for doing my job for me. And we see the clip of Mac kind of, I wouldn't say exploding, but kind of just being annoyed with Dom, saying,
throwing
she
a
has
little fit.
Yeah, throwing a fit. She has 9 to 5. It's irresponsible. That no shocker. Dom is immature.
I feel bad for that dog.
Yeah, Mac's like, at least I left my dog with my mom.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Mac is saying. I didn't leave my dog alone. I pawned my dog off on a family member, so I'm not as bad as Dom.
So I'm a good person.
Yeah. Everyone kind of cringes after you come back from the clip. Max says, listen, I said that out of anger to hurt your feelings. I said, damn, you're being very honest. Dom says, listen, when you got a house and you told me, I said congrats. Max says, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I shouldn't have done it. I was in the wrong, dummy. That's what I felt like it was like, yeah, I just said that. I was in the wrong. You don't seem to get it.
Right.
I'm admitting fault.
Unnecessarily hostile.
Yeah, I'm admitting fault, dumb. We then get to one of the bigger moments of the season. Kev brings up Clint's slender comment. We, of course, see the clip. Nicole comments, says, yeah, we were all getting to know each other. And when Clint said that, I really wanted to make him regret his words. Gina says, that comment really just kind of hit me as, a very accusatory. Who is he to say that I'm not athletic and slender? It just makes me think more about.
He doesn't know my workout routine.
Yeah, it just makes me think more about Gina's problem was not that Clint was body shaming. It was the fact that he was calling her plus size. Like, I am not plus size. It's not the fact like you should not be talking about women's bodies that way. It's like, no, you're calling me fat. That's wrong. I am not fat. It felt like she was wrong. She was mad for the wrong reasons. It felt like.
Because it would have been different if he was like, I don't think she would have been as offended if he said like he was unattracted to her.
Clint says, listen, I didn't want anyone to feel body shamed. I was just trying to convey that we both were matched up with people that we wouldn't ordinarily go for. Chris falls on the grenade and says, listen, I also said something that was bad. I said Nicole was thick and but you say things you don't mean. You're sometimes a little too honest. And I'm
like, Chris, do not group yourself in with this situation.
And it was such a different thing. The two situations were so different.
Yes.
Clint is basically putting his foot in his mouth in front of the whole group. Chris is saying this comment to a producer in a confessional and saying right after that, but in a good way. She's thick in a good way. Clint did not say that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know why Chris is so eager to just kind of fall on the sword here for Clint. I guess he and Clint are big buddies now, and he wants to.
They're all friends.
Kind of bail him out. They're all buds.
Yeah.
So the conversation now turns to Felina and Eris and Jasmine. Kev says, listen, these comments about Felina, like they were something. We see Felina clips. We see all the clips of Felina talking bad about Jasmine. And while the clips are going, Eris is in his little picture box, kind of laughing at the comments. Like you are not helping yourself, Eris. This is not the look you want to go for. After we come back from the clip, we see another clip after this. We see a never before seen clip of Eris and Jasmine, seemingly right after that brunch that Jasmine went on with Felina, where a lot of this conflict took place. And Eris says to her, "Oh, damn! It looks like you just worked a 16-hour shift." Like, what are you saying? She looks like tired and disheveled? Is that what he's meaning?
Something no one would ever want to hear.
Never.
Oh, you look exhausted.
You look tired. Jasmine tells me, I kind of felt attacked. And, if you aren't rocking with me, I don't want you around. And in the clip, Eris tells her, listen, I want someone that's strong and can really hold her own. Thanks. We come back from the clip. Kevin asks for opinions. Pretty much we go around the whole room, and just about everyone says, you really should have stuck by Jasmine in that moment and really stuck up for your new wife. Jasmine says, she really felt unsupported. And, she didn't feel like she was showing any weakness. She just felt like, if you don't want to be around me, I don't want to be, if you want to talk bad about me, I don't want to be around you. Mac,
out of nowhere, unprompted.
Just, again, people falling on swords for other people for no reason. He says, listen, I'm going to defend Eris here. It's a hard thing to choose between your wife and your family. And Jazz like, that is not what we're talking about. The point is, he should have my back. Max says, well, yeah, he should have. He says, okay, well, that's what we're talking about then, so don't defend him. I said, ooh. She
They're
put
like,
Mac in time
you're
out
in
with that
Michigan
one.
now. You're not a part of this group. Why are you piping in?
She put Mac in the corner, said, don't talk to me. Don't come kicking up for this man. Don't do it. Don't test me. I was like, oh, Max, okay. Mac looked down. All right, I'll shut the hell up then. Sorry. Sorry that I bothered you.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, Eris says, listen, the things that Felina said were definitely wrong. Kevin says, well, then why did you take Felina's side in the moment? He says, well, I mean, naturally, hearing only half the story, I'm going to rock with someone I've known since I was 4 years old. Oh, God, here we go. But Kevin says, but listen, this is your new wife, and you really shouldn't be saying, look like you worked a 16-hour shift. Kevin was very focused on that. It's like, you should not have said that to her. Eris says, listen, I apologize for Felina and for me for not making her feel more secure. Felina's probably at home saying, don't apologize for me. I meant every word I said.
Right. Word for word from the experts. Sorry for not making her look or feel secure.
Feel more secure. You know, in the back of his mind, he's like, I was right though. Dude, she was weak. But yeah, what do you think happened? Do you think they asked Felina to be on the reunion and she declined, or out of respect for Jasmine, they didn't even bother asking her to show up?
Ooh, that's a good question. If I had to put money on it, I would guess she declined, because
that would be my guess too.
Why would they choose to bring the only person out of all these couples they bring is Jasmine's friend that we barely saw?
Did we see her at all? I did not remember this person whatsoever. I was like, why are we bringing this person in here?
To be fair, we have been covering the season since January.
She could have been on 5 episodes, and it could have been got lost in the shuffle. We have no idea.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna trust my memory, the fact that I don't vividly remember her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine if they were looking for people to come. I mean, we had, Nicole's dad, but I feel like they probably reached out to Felina. And for some reason, she's probably like, nope, I knew it wasn't going to work. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, I'm sure around this time, she's feeling the heat of being on the show. And she's like, no, I'm good.
Right.
So we then start with we're going to break everyone up now and do individual couple interviews. The first interview is with Jasmine and Eris. They come out, they shake Kevin's hand as if they weren't just talking to him 5 minutes ago. Kevin starts, he says, listen, Eris, it seemed like you really hit the jackpot, but what was the problem that you had with Jasmine? Eris says, listen, out of respect, both of us, I'm not going to reveal what I said to her in private, and reveal what about her I was unattracted to. Kev says, well, I mean, it seemed like when she was coming down the aisle, you were all about it, but eventually it turned. What happened? Kevin's still trying to dig. Kevin's still trying to go at it. Aaron says, if I said what I really want to say, I would be nailed to the cross. So I said, okay, so this isn't really about sparing Jasmine and her feelings. This is about how you're going to look if you say whatever you want to say. I was like, okay,
exactly.
I thought that was the case, but this really confirmed it. He says again, out of respect for her and her family, I'm not going to put that out there. Kevin says, so Jasmine, were you baffled, about what he said he wasn't attracted to you? She says, yes, that was my worst fear coming into this, that he wouldn't be attracted to me. I was attracted to him, and I tried to put my best foot forward, but my worst fear happened. Kevin, which I want more of this type of thing. He says, listen, we went back to the casting process, and we pulled what Eris said he was looking for. And Eris, you said that, for you like the body like Serena Williams, but someone like Zendaya is too skinny. And we see a clip of Eris talking to Pastor Cal in the casting process. And Pastor Cal, it wasn't necessarily the way Kevin put it. Pastor Cal gave Eris the prompts.
Right.
Pastor Cal says, all right, so we're talking about these
people.
What about Serena Williams? He says, Serena's good. She's athletic. And Pastor Cal says, what about Zendaya? He says, well, she's too skinny. So Eris at first like, I didn't say that. And then they show him the clip. It's like, oh, well, okay. I guess I did kind of say that. Jasmine says, well, I mean, I'm not Serena. I'm not Zendaya. I'm kind of in the middle of that. Ken says, yeah, exactly. So Eris, they gave you exactly what you wanted. What's the problem? Eris says, listen, the body type, it didn't have to do with body type. That's not why I was not attracted to Jasmine.
Doesn't he realize he's making it worse by leaving it up for interpretation? Really now he's leaving it up to people to guess, and they're going to guess all types of things, which can even be more harmful. Yep. Obviously he's just thinking about himself in this moment, but now it's like, yeah, it just leaves people. I bet it was this. I bet it was this.
And Jazz is probably online looking like, oh, why would you say that about me? Right. I mean, so I don't know. I have my theory about what it is. What is your final theory?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're about to be that person picking at Jasmine's appearance, being like, it's this
right.
or this or this or this.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
I think it
What's your final theory?
I think it has more to do with her personality than anything physical.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jasmine's friend's going to come on here, and I think she's going to kind of put a finger on it and say what it was. That Jasmine was not as open as Eris likes. She was not. I think Eris might look at her and say she is a little bougie. She is a little too reserved. She's a little, maybe the word he would use is stuck up. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Eris or Jasmine well enough to know any of this stuff about them. That's just my thought, that she's too goody maybe. It's like,
my only flaw in that theory is that I feel like he would have said that. He had no issue saying, oh, I need somebody who would can really stand up and take charge of a situation. I feel like he would have had no issue saying that. That's why I do think that it's a physical feature, because I feel like it just would show Eris being shallow. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what he doesn't want. And so, yeah.
I guess. I guess we'll really never know.
Yeah.
So we kind of pivot to, talking about, hey, but the thing is, we weren't romantically involved, but we get along great. We're great friends.
Then Kevin Frazier. Oh, then why?
What do you mean you're friends? Friends? Why couldn't you be husband and wife if you're friends? You can be husband and wife, obviously.
That is Kevin Frazier's thought process. If you can be friends, why didn't you stay married?
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need is be friends.
Yeah.
So Jasmine says, listen, I do commend Eris. because he was always honest, and she was happy that he was honest because that let her pump the brakes on her expectations and to be more realistic. The topic then turns to Eris sleeping with one of Jasmine's friends 10 days before the wedding. We did find this out on After Party earlier in the season that before, when they get notified you're going to get married in 2 weeks, that was when Eris had to cut off this relationship that turned out, they found out on the honeymoon, was this a woman that Jasmine knew or was friends with. So Kevin asked about it. He says, Jasmine, how did you feel about that? Jasmine says, knowing who the friend is, it makes a lot more sense why I was not his type. She is completely opposite from me. So that makes a lot of sense. That got me definitely thinking that it was more of a personality thing.
See, I think it could be completely opposite too, physically.
Okay. For sure. Eris says,
like,
listen,
you know what also that is not as like shallow, but I think could have been one thing. Do you think that he thought she was too tall for him?
That definitely could have been an issue. That would make sense as well. But like you said, I don't think if it was a height thing, I don't think he would be so secretive about that.
Yeah.
Eris says, we were, me and this friend of Jasmine, we were just kind of hanging out. It wasn't anything too serious, but when I found out that I was getting married, I decided I really had to cut it off because we were just 2 weeks away from the wedding. Kev asked Jasmine, so do you think he did anything wrong there? Like, do you think that was a wrong thing to do? Jasmine says, well, listen, me and Eris, we just prepared for this differently. Even before I found out I was going to be on the show, I cut off, all relationships. I was really going into this seriously, but he did not do that. He decided to go a different route. And that's just what it is. We just decided to do things in a different way.
Yeah. And which I liked how she put that. We prepared for this differently. Because Eris treated it like, what are the odds I get picked? I know I applied, but like, what are the odds I get picked?
And it just seems like it's really in the back of his mind type of thing. If it happens, it happens. If not, it's whatever. Whereas Jasmine was really, really probably hoping she got married at first sight, was really preparing herself for that option. So she didn't want to really get into anything even semi-serious if she had to cut it off in favor of Married at First Sight. So she was really thinking ahead. Eris was thinking with a different head. Let's say that.
Correct.
We now see another never before seen clip. A lot of never before seen clips that were very similar to what we did see.
They were all just extensions of clips we've already seen.
Yeah, they should have said extended scenes and left it at that. We see the infamous conversation with the questions in the fishbowl. The topic comes around. Listen, something that I haven't told you until now is I would be down for an open marriage. He says, but kind of like in a 20 years type of thing. Jasmine is kind of shocked by this, not really into this at all. She says, well, listen, if you're going to do that, you're going to do it with somebody else that's not me, because I am not into that. Eris talks about, listen, there's a whole community of people out there that don't need to hide in the shadows. They want to be open with who they're with. Kev asked Jasmine, so when he said that, what were you thinking? Jasmine says, listen, Eris always says something that can be said in 2 sentences, in 3 sentences. And that third sentence is always out of pocket and always wrong, which is a great way to put that, I think.
Like, he always goes too far.
Goes way too far.
Did you notice how hard he was laughing during
Eris?
that? Yeah.
Yeah, Eris definitely gets a kick out of himself.
Like, he ha ha buckled over laughing.
Yeah,
like, you aren't that funny.
Definitely gets a kick out of it. Eris says, listen, throughout the process, when I was done with this conversation on camera, I would just say crazy stuff. And I told Jasmine right after the cameras left that I was just joking, which makes a lot of sense. Really, I feel like he did that a lot. He just said out of nowhere nonsense stuff, and I did feel like most of it was in a joking manner.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. They were really trying to make the mountain out of a molehill with this whole Eris thing.
Yeah, because I mean, really though, what else could they have discussed in their segment?
Right, they had nothing really left to discuss after the attraction thing, which no one was going to really say anything of note.
That's That's why their relationship crashed and burned, because he was not attracted to her. So I could see why Kevin wanted to focus on, like, why is that? But it just felt like such a lost cause if you like watch the season.
Yeah. Next up, we're gonna call out Jasmine's friend Adrian onto the stage for a reason none of us are gonna know. Why was this the person that needed to be brought onto the stage? Kevin asks her, so did what we see on TV matched up to what was really going on? Adrian says, yeah, it was. But it was weird watching the season because I really care about Jasmine, and my concern was Jasmine's mental space. She kept searching for something that she was not going to get. And it was concerning that Eris is 40 years old and never been in love. And I felt like he was really disrespecting her, like not standing beside her when Felina called her fake. Eris chimes this, listen, she never called her fake. And then we see the clip of Felina basically calling her fake.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? We just saw that. How are you
Even Adrian's like,
that?
did you watch the show? Because
Right.
that definitely happened. And Eris says, listen, Felina's interest in my marriage was zero. She came to you right before you got married, trying to talk you out of it. I don't think someone with zero interest is doing that.
Exactly.
Adrian says, listen, she was constantly just negative towards Jasmine. And I feel like if you're someone with a loved one, you should not be doing that. As one of Jasmine's loved ones, I would never think to take this platform and to do that to her on national TV, basically. Kev talks about the fact that, Felina is a loved one and that will resonate more with Jasmine and with what Felina has to say. So she's going to really take it hard. Adrian says she also felt, Eris was that Jasmine was different than what Eris was used to. She's more reserved than what Eris
which is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, which I think is definitely has is what I think most of this unattractiveness is about. And he's used to be with more sexually adventurous people. Kev says, that's great you brought that up. Let's see all those clips about Eris talking about all this sexual stuff. We see all the clips, and Eris, like you said earlier, is just dying laughing. He's got his head on Jasmine's shoulder. He's cracking up so much.
They were sitting so close.
He was almost like in his arms in a way.
I almost thought they were about to say well, Kevin, what you don't know is we're actually together.
Yeah. Kev asked Adrian, so how do you feel? Do you feel like if Jasmine was into it, if it does sex stuff, would things have been different? Adrian says, listen, behind closed doors, I'm sure Jasmine could be Meg the Stallion, but she's a cheer coach to young girls, and she was really careful about what she did and said on camera, which I definitely agree with. Like, a lot of the times Eris was bringing up the sexual stuff, you could tell the look on Jasmine's face is like, I don't want to talk about this here. Like, right. I don't want to talk about this right now. And why are you bringing this up on camera? That's the big part of it. So I mean, I do think that part of it is true. But Adrian's like, she doesn't want to do all this stuff on camera because she's a mentor to young girls. We get Adrian saying, like, no, Eris says, listen, this all happened for a reason. And when in 2 or 5 years, when I'm married and she's married, we're going to look back on this and realize that this all happened for a reason. So yes, whatever. Trying to dig yourself out of a hole.
Right.
Kev asks, do you want to hug it out with Eris? Ask Adrian that. They get up, they hug. Oh, so cute. Kevin asks, so what are you guys up to next? Eris says, listen, Jasmine has really inspired me to volunteer, feeding the homeless, and she taught me to tap into things that I'm passionate about. So, okay, cool. Jasmine's been going to esthetician school.
She inspired me to grow up.
She inspired me to care about people. Jasmine is going to esthetician school and wants to open her own spa, and she still wants to be a mom and a wife. Kevin brings up the friend boy. Says, so what's all this about the friend boy? Why did he want to be on camera? And how are things going with friend boy? Jasmine confirms that friend boy is now her man. They've been going out for a minute. And that, he messaged her shortly after the experiment and asked her out. And that's what we saw on the show. Kevin again is like, why wouldn't he show his face on TV? What is he
That's
hiding?
a red flag.
There's a red flag. Jasmine says, as she said on the show. So Kevin, I don't know how closely Kevin's watching. Jasmine does say, listen, I was the one that said that his face was not to be shown on TV. Okay. Kevin turns to Era, says, listen, did you go on another date with Kendra, who we saw on the post-decision day episode? He says, no, we did not go on a second date. But he is dating, but no one really special worth talking about. Just a lot of meaningless hookups, I'm sure. Era says, listen, I've learned through this that maybe I'm a little too open and honest. Yeah, you don't say.
Right.
Kevin wishes them both well and pretty much just kind of sends them on their way.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of rehashing, right? Like it was
really just like we've read this book already.
Yeah,
we're coming back through it.
This is really well-tread territory that we didn't need again. I understand we need a segment from everybody, but bring us something new and something more to talk about.
Yeah. Give us a 1-part reunion. It doesn't always have to be 2 parts.
For sure. Next couple out is Nicole and Chris. They come out. Kev says, listen, it's apparent that you guys are still together. They say, yeah, we thought about pranking you guys and saying we weren't, but we just decided not to. And Kevin tells him, listen, I need to apologize because I said preseason that there's no way that you guys are going to make it. Kevin asks, how hard is it to hear people saying that before the season aired, that they didn't think that Chris is going to survive you, Nicole? Chris talks about, listen, when she saw that, she wanted to talk to you immediately. I'm surprised that she didn't. I'm surprised she didn't find a way to contact Kevin Frazier. Nicole says that when
there probably are a few unread DMs from
I'm sure from a burner account or something. She's probably not allowed.
Yeah, I can't believe you would say that about Nicole.
Yeah. Nicole says, yeah, Kevin, when you said that, you didn't have all the facts. You didn't know that Chris is a guy that can really handle a lot. Kevin says, yeah, you're right. I have to apologize. I have to acknowledge. And the turning point for me was on the honeymoon when Nicole really stepped up with the dogs and, took charge of that situation and really kind of led the charge. And we see an extended clip of Nicole kind of confronting the producers, saying, listen, this isn't an option. If we have to live apart for 2 months, we will, and we'll make it work. She says, the dogs are our children and we will not abandon them. The producers say, well, listen, we will find a solution. Those producers never really found a solution, did they? They just kind of left them they just kind of left them to drown.
They're like, actually, Newton's gonna have to go with your dad. No, they didn't think of that. She thought of that.
Yeah, I know that you stood up and was like, yeah, Nicole. But she's like,
stick it to him.
Yeah, but she's like, those are our children. We're not going to abandon them. Asia's gonna kick out of this part.
I just feel like it was careless on the producers' end to not consider the fact that they both have dogs and the fact that they are forcing them to live in an apartment. You just think about these things.
They should have found them more accommodations. And as I said at the time, listen, Lifetime, just throw some money at the apartment complex. Like, listen, we'll give you an extra $200 a month for this 2 months they'll be staying there for a third dog. What's the big deal? It was like ridiculous. We come back to Chris and Nicole, and Chris says, listen, it may have seemed over dramatic, but I was dealing with so much stress at the time, and everything was hitting me all at once. And she was really there for me, and I really owe her a huge debt for that. Nicole says, listen, it's the New York in me. I have to exhaust every option, talk to every person I can until I get a satisfiable answer. Nicole says the fact that he could be vulnerable spoke to how comfortable he was with her, and it made him realize how special she is, because in that situation, other women may have ran away as she saw him boohoo crying about these dogs. Kevin brings up, Chris, you seem to really appease Nicole a lot and really kind of bend him to your will. We get a clip of the infamous dinosaur costumes at the retreat. Nicole talks about, listen, at the time, we didn't realize that everyone was kind of waiting for us to start breakfast to help out with breakfast. So it really made it kind of awkward because they were waiting on us and we were busy getting in our dinosaur costumes, and we come in there with these silly costumes. And she said it just really was really awkward, and she kind of regrets that a little bit. Kevin then asked, so listen, Nicole, have you had any outbursts Like when you had with the wedding photos since the cameras left. I said outburst. She
That
yelled for
1 second thing,
5 seconds. I'm like, you're being ridiculous now, Kevin. Come on. Nicole says
that's a highlight. You're like, whoa,
yeah,
she really blew up in that clip.
Yeah, she must have really done that a lot. I gotta write that down for the reunion. Nicole says, I do have these 5-second rants, and then I get over it really quickly. Chris says, yeah, but in those moments, you really just had to give her space, and it has been an adjustment. Because I find that I'm a little more open-minded than she is. Did we ask you that? Like, I think you really kind of fell off the plot of that question there, Chris.
Right.
And
that wasn't the question.
yeah, I think you're telling a little more than you should at this moment.
He's like, I'm cleaner than her.
Yeah. I'm more polite.
I make people laugh all the time.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
She's just awful. I'm great. And Nicole kind of gives us this look like, oh, okay, that's how you feel? All right, then.
Right.
Kevin then asked Chris, how are you doing with keeping Nicole and yourself happy? He says, yeah, I'm doing fine with it. Nicole says, yeah, Chris never had a problem speaking up, but so many of his friends and family told me at the wedding that he had issues speaking up. So I was really just kind of pressing it when I didn't need to. But there are still times when I ask him to speak up more, but he just has nothing to say. So I'm like, yeah, Chris is really just like a go with the flow guy. It doesn't seem like you can really rile him up a lot. She's like, I just have nothing else to really say to you about this. I don't really care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what it is the level of care. Yeah, like she can probably get very passionate about a specific thing, and he's just like, whatever.
It's like, these two options are for dinner. Which one do you want? I really don't care. I mean, from personal experience, I can tell you that is a conversation American people have a lot. These are your options. What do you want? It's either one is fine with me. No, really. Which one? I know you have a preference. I don't really. I'm fine with either one of these.
She's like, you have to care. How could you not?
It's just not something I care about that much.
Right.
We then see some more never before seen footage of Nicole bring home lightsabers, and they have a lightsaber duel. It's like, all right, more filler. Yeah, I guess we had to fill this 2 hours or something.
The way I was watching that and was like, I looked at Pepper. I said, are they serious?
Pepper, what am I doing with my life?
Right. I'm like, what are we doing here watching this episode?
This is a show I have to cover for a podcast. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to you, Pepper? That you're watching this too with me?
Right.
Kevin asked about, so what's the status with the old kids conversation? We flash back to the honeymoon talking about the kids. Nicole says, listen, we're not ready for kids right now. We have our hands full. We have 3 dogs. We're looking for a house. We'll revisit the kids in about a year or so. Chris says, yeah, right now we really just want to focus on enjoying each other. My question is, why isn't Kevin getting the dressing down that Vanessa Lachey got for asking the same question?
Give me a second, because I was about to say, why won't we let this question go? First of all, these people just got married. Why are you rushing the agenda? And you don't know if they have been trying. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't.
I think y'all are going too hard on these people with this kids question. I think that is a perfectly reasonable question.
It's
on
not
a show about relationships.
It's not a perfectly reasonable question when you don't know what people like. It could either be super harmless, they haven't been trying, or it can be harmless, like they have been trying and it hasn't happened.
Either way, I think it's a relevant question. I think when you're talking about a relationship where people are married, and
that's also the assumption that everyone wants kids.
But he's asking, what's the deal on the kids? What's happening with the kids? He's asking about it. He's not saying you need to have kids right now. You need to present them to me. Like, I need to know when you're having sex. You need to call me when you are.
He literally said, he ended the segment saying, I expect to get a picture of this kid. What are you talking about?
That's true. But I just don't, I think, first of all, that Vanessa Lachey thing, y'all were looking for reasons to attack Vanessa Lachey.
No, she is out of line.
She started out of line, and y'all piled on Vanessa Lachey.
As needed.
Hey, fine. I just think it's a normal question in this type of situation to ask what the next step is.
Why can't the next step just be enjoy each other?
And that can be the next. That's what they said. We're not thinking about kids right now. The next step is just enjoying each other. That's what we're going to do. We're
I
going to
know. I'm
revisit it
saying
later.
it was harmless for them, but you don't. That was them. Like you never know people's situation,
That's
and
true.
I just think you ask you if you could if it were a couple that had been trying and it hadn't happened yet, then it's just like you are pressing home something that they don't have an answer to. It's just like, okay, then let's say they had a kid, right? Then Kevin's question is, all right, when's the
next one?
second
Yeah.
kid? Like, come on. Just
Where's the
like,
sequel?
what about any fun travel plans coming up? Like, how do y'all plan to enjoy this next phase of y'all's marriage? It always has to be the what's next, what's next, what's next. And they always think marriage, kid. Doesn't happen that way for everybody.
It doesn't, but I think it happens that way for a lot of people. I think that is I don't think it's a crazy question to ask. I just don't think it's I don't think it's
a crazy question. I think it can be a harmful question is my issue.
I think what people think of harmful is should not be thought of as harmful. I think if you don't know the situation, yes, it's could be a delicate situation, but I don't think it's harmful to ask. I don't think I'm going to be like, oh, I'm so hurt that you asked me that question. I think if you want to answer the question, answer the question. If you don't want to answer the question, don't answer the question. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's an out of line question, I should say.
I think it's an unnecessary question because you could be chartering territories that
but then we can't ask any questions.
No,
then we can't ask any questions.
No, I'm talking about conceiving a child.
Jason, what are your travel plans for the future? Well, Kevin, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't travel. I feel like that's also a harmful question. Like,
that's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the exact same. I agree.
At all.
But I don't see the big deal in asking you. I don't think we should strike it from every reality show reunion questioning.
How about this? Instead of when are you having kids? What if it's like, what are y'all's plans now as a family?
Okay. That's kind of a roundabout way of asking.
That can be anything. If they want to have kids, they can bring that up. If they want to move in together, they can bring that up. It doesn't have to step on anything. It's very general. It doesn't mean, listen, we need y'all to have kids. It's just like, so.
Yeah, I guess.
I just feel like it's normalizing just, if you want a kid, you can have a kid.
Okay.
Which is not always the case.
True. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with the asking about the family question. I just think everyone was up in arms so much about the Love is Blind reunion about Vanessa Lachey asking that question. I didn't think it warranted the up in armedness that we got. I think people were looking for reasons to hate Vanessa Lachey, and that was one that they brought
Trust me, I wish she didn't give me a single reason.
Well, I think in that reunion, I don't know why we're talking about the Love is Blind reunion on this podcast, but I think she started out that reunion badly, and y'all just were looking for more reasons to pile on Vanessa Lachey, and that's all I'll leave it at.
No, whatever. It's too much. Yes, I will say Kevin was less intense than Vanessa Lachey about kids, but it's just like that. That does not have to be the next line of questioning.
Okay. I think it's a relevant question on this show of that. First of all, they talked about kids, so I think that's a relevant question to ask. What the update is on that situation. I could see if Nicole had said during the show, "I'm unable to have children. I'm unable to conceive."
You may not know that,
right? But they said on that honeymoon, like, I'm not crazy about kids, but I could definitely see I'm open to it. So I can see why that question is brought up on the reunion. If she said I couldn't have kids, and the kid's like, well, what's the plan for kids? Because you can't have kids. What are you going to do? I could see how that would be offensive. But yeah, I felt like, I number one felt like no one was up in arms about Kevin asking this question on social media or anything like that. But I mean,
yeah, I didn't
MAFS is not as big a show
get
as
a
Love Is
social
Blind,
media
so
reaction
true.
from this episode.
Yeah, yes, of course. I think probably the viewership for this episode was not great anyway.
It's like our Facebook group.
Yeah, true, truly. So now we turn to questions about Nicole's dad. So Nicole, how is Chris with your dad now? How is that relationship? Nicole says, my dad loves Chris more than he loves me, it seems. So we, for some reason, decide we have to call Mark, Nicole's dad, on FaceTime from her little phone. I feel like we have the technology to get him on a bigger screen.
Yeah, they did whole reunions from Kev on a screen.
And talk to him via satellite or something. I don't feel like we need to hold this little phone up like, here, you want to talk to Kevin? Here you go. Like you have some family.
It was function. So spur of the moment, so fun.
Yeah, it was so out of left field. So Kevin talks to Mark on FaceTime. Mark says, hey Kev, you're looking better on the phone than you do on TV. It's an honor to meet you. I think Mark is now like a Married at First Sight, just super fan.
He has to be. The way he named off the cast, like as if he's us.
Yeah, exactly. Kev says, so Mark, how you feeling about the show? Mark says, I really fell in love with the concept. I love the show. The results are fantastic. I said, huh? The results are fantastic. Sir, have you seen the results? Overall, I guess you could say that since your daughter is one of the few successful results.
He's like, my daughter is the happiest she's ever been. This show's amazing.
Yeah. I haven't seen the rest of the show, but this must be the case all the time, right? Yeah, I don't think so, Mark. Mark says, listen, I never had an issue with Chris, despite how it may have looked on TV. We then see the clips about Mark talking about how Chris needs to have BDE, and Kevin then asks Mark, so Mark, does Chris have that BDE you're talking about? We got the suspenseful music. It's like, oh, what is Nicole's dad going to say? Nicole's dad says, yes, he does have BDE, as if this was just some suspenseful moment that we needed the answer from Mark.
Yeah.
Mark
Who made him the BDE judge?
Right. Mark says, having someone stable marry my daughter is the best I could have asked for. Mark says, it's great because now not only do I have Chris and his family as a part of my family, I also have the rest of the cast. I have Shaq, Kirsten, Mac, once removed. I did like that. He said Mac, once removed. Dom, Gina, Clint, Jasmine. I said, okay, you naming everybody. It's not MAFS Nashville.
Like Montre.
Yeah, it's MAFS Nashville family. Said, okay, you're doing a little too much.
All right, you should have been there.
Yeah. Kevin says, listen, Nicole and Chris, you guys are proof that this works and that this is what the show is really about. And the experts did a perfect job of putting you guys together. Chris says he's forever grateful to the process. And, if they had just met at a bar, maybe they wouldn't have even really walked up to each other and pursued a relationship. But throughout this process, he got to know her, and that was great. Nicole says this process helped her mature. Kev says, yeah, we saw that you would talk all the time about you not having confidence, but then we would see it play out on the show. Nicole says, yeah, looking back, I wonder why I ever said those things about myself. And now I see that me and Chris balance each other out so well. It took her time during the filming to get over the questioning of the relationship, but now she doesn't question it at all. Chris says, yeah, she also learned to rely on someone else, and they're always going to be there for each other, and they're going to grow old together. And Kev, like you said, does say, can't wait to get a picture of those babies that will come someday. And sends us out to break. I just could have just cut everything out of there. Just get out of there.
Cutting room floor.
On the floor.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't know what to say about them anymore that we haven't already said.
Chris and Nicole are great. This was a great pairing, and the experts did a great job.
For once.
Period. Like that. What more? They've been saying that for 4 episodes.
Yeah. Nicole is definitely going to be one of those MAFS people that are going to be back on these specials.
For sure. For sure.
She's going to be hosting her own special. I think about that one that Beth and Brianna did.
Yeah.
Either this season or the past season. I guess Beth is probably out of the running since she's not a successful person anymore on the MAFS. So I guess Nicole's going to be taking that spot probably.
Yeah, I mean they also have these guest spots on Couples Cam. Where they have like Rachel and Mirla.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
They're
there's still a
definitely gonna be on
spot.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next section we had was with the ladies. So we still need a section with the guys.
Yeah, that'll be next
Yay.
episode, I guess.
Yeah.
All the
Dang, we didn't get it this
ladies.
episode.
Darn. All the ladies again. I say it every. I feel like I say it every reunion, looking like Power Rangers with all their
Yeah.
solid colored suits. Asia, did you get all the right colors for all the right suits? I'm wondering.
Well, I only got Nicole, who was wearing purple.
Oh no,
Was she not wearing purple?
she was wearing pink. Asia.
It was purple on my TV.
Oh my goodness, Asia, come on.
It definitely was.
You're
purple.
not serious.
What color was his suit?
I want to say he was wearing a burgundy suit.
Okay, I did see burgundy for him. Okay,
think.
maybe we're thinking the same. Like it was a light purple. It wasn't a strong like
No.
lavender, but
It was a pink.
no. Is pink as our background?
Pinker.
Well, then yeah, you're leaning towards purple now.
No. I'm gonna find a picture of what Nicole was wearing and show it to you.
She's the only dress I remember. I don't remember anybody else's. And that's only because I wrote it down. So the ladies are talking about how they've gained 4 new best friends, which I think is funny because I thought Dom was like out of the loop, but looks like she's just been pulled right back in.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's something you say to not exclude anyone.
We've made 3 best friends. Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean 4, Dom. Yeah, 4. We don't have a group chat without you. Yeah.
I mean, I bet you she's in the group chat, but she's like one of those just like in it. She probably doesn't contribute to the conversation. And they know like
she does the thumbs up on the text like
they know if they make plans, she's not coming, so they don't have to worry about it.
If she comes, she's gonna leave early.
Yeah, there's always that person in the group text. Nicole says she's the one that they always go to when they have problems. We get a never before scene of it, which is an extended scene of Jasmine crying when she was talking to the ladies when the guys were at the baseball stadium. And Jasmine says like emotionally, she just didn't know if she had anything left to give. And she starts crying because she's like watching this back and she's like, it sucks seeing the life sucked out of her.
It's good that she was able to see that because that's what we were saying. The whole scene was like, yeah, she's not doing well. Looks like she worked a 16-hour shift. Right. We said every week we said that, right?
Right. Every week we were saying that. She says she doesn't feel like she didn't get what she deserved, which is totally true. Like everyone can argue that. Even Eris could say that. So she says she feels like she was so ready for this process, but she does have 0 regrets. And then Kevin was like, anything you want Eris to know, like that you didn't get to say to him? She was like, well, he was very close-minded. He was never all in, and I feel like he never tried with me.
I mean, I feel like she said that to him on the decision day.
Yeah.
So it's not really anything that Eris hasn't heard.
Yeah. She's like, she could have said, I've told him everything I need to tell him. And so Nicole chimes in. She's like, I just want to slap him for how he treated her. The goodness. And so Kevin decides to show them the scene of when the guys, it was during the post decision day episodes, and the guys had Gina's dog and Jasmine's dog, and showed them talking about them having sex after the experiment was over and how quickly they did it. And so Kevin's like, what do y'all think about that?
I love the faces and just the disgusted looks on everyone's faces as this clip was going, like, ew. Like Jasmine literally, as the clip was going, she's like, ew, gross.
Yeah, that's gross.
And it was really gross.
It was. Jasmine is not, she said she was not surprised because she said he basically was counting down the days. Yep. Gina was laughing at it. She kind of thought it was funny, but that's because she never was into Clint.
Well, I mean, and when we come back from the clip, she's like, see, that's why you see why I didn't want to jump his bones now? Right. It's like, all right, Gina.
So then Kevin's like, all right, what type of guy would work for Gina? And Jasmine's like, she needs a man.
Oh man.
Right. And then Kevin's like, hey, what kind of guy would work for Dom? And I think it was Kirsten. He said she needs a lumberjack.
A lumberjack, someone who is adventurous,
Someone who
something like
goes
that.
fishing.
I
And
mean,
then
it's all stuff we can say like already, right? Like it's nothing surprising.
Right. And Kevin goes, so if things don't work out with Jasmine and like friend boy, what kind of man does she need? Nicole says, look, things will work out. We're not even going to put that out into the atmosphere or into the universe. I'm like, thank you, Nicole, because I was talking to Jason about this pre-show. I'm like, what issue did Kevin have with friend boy? First, he thought it was a red flag because he didn't get the memo that was Jasmine's decision, that she didn't want people all up in her business knowing who he was when they were just going on a date on the show. Then he's already trying to move her on to another guy. I'm like, just wish her well.
Kevin knows who friend boy is, and Kevin knows that friend boy is an F boy.
Apparently,
and he needs to get away from Jasmine because he is trying to kill this relationship before anything can really progress.
He won't let up.
So let's say you dump this loser, friend boy.
If he brings up friend boy next episode in part 2, I think he has a hidden agenda.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
So Jasmine, you're this loser you're dating, whatever his name is.
I'm like,
are you sure you trust him?
Oh gosh. So then Kevin asks, okay, what kind of man does Kirsten need? Nicole goes, Shaq.
Nicole,
She's like,
what are you doing? This is not the move. Okay.
We're
gonna talk about Shaq later, but this is not the move. Nicole, get that out of your head. Nicole
says she is not ready to give up on them. Well, you should, because they're ready to give up on each other.
Yes, 100%. And Gina gonna chime in talking about, I second that. Shut up, Gina.
Oh my goodness. Yes, like y'all aren't in the relationship. That's what that is always my MO. And I mean, I feel like even talking about this show, yes, I have opinions on everybody.
I was about to say, you're sure you come on here every week and tell people what they should be doing with their relationships.
But in real life, I always have the opinion that
this is how you get it out. This is your outlet. This is the one time you can be nosy and get other people's business.
Exactly.
Because in real life, for all to see.
I look at other people's relationships from the perspective of I'm not in it. So no matter how great I think they are for each other, I'm not there the day to day. So who am I to say?
But you can watch this edited TV show that you only see a very small amount of the relationship, and you feel that you can accurately talk about these relationships.
Absolutely.
Interesting way to go about it.
Absolutely. I have everything I need in front of me.
Yes. I have all the facts.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I lost your audio. Yeah, you're not muted. You check your cord. You're muted now. You're muted on StreamYard. Oh, it says can't unmute guest. Their mic isn't connected. So it must be your mic. There we go. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, everyone.
You were like,
I was so animated. I knocked my mic out, I guess. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
But yes, I have everything I need to make some judgments here, but in real life,
and the TV show gives you all the information you need to make sound decisions and sound judgments of these people.
Absolutely. You get it.
Yeah, I'm right here with you. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So we have next we moved on to Gina and Clint, who, we get it. We already know they're not
Still
meant to be
doing-
together. Period.
Still doing the same tap dance, the same routine. We both
Yeah.
tried. We really tried. I know you did.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. No, you did.
Kevin points out Clint's haircut. Gina's like, yeah, I think everybody needs a glow up. Clint, I don't even know what a glow up is.
What even is a glow up? I don't even know.
Yeah, right, Clint. Yeah, right. I think he thinks that's like an endearing thing to be like, oh, I don't know this.
Yeah, I'm a clueless old man.
Yeah, it's like, and so Kevin asks Clint about his swag. Clint thinks he's always had swag, and Gina's like, yeah, I think he has swag now.
What changed? Clint looks exactly the same to me.
I still can't really see the big difference in his haircut, but maybe it was just.
Is this the same haircut? Is this something different? I feel like this is the exact same.
I know. I think it was because before it was so thick and like he had it behind his ears, and so he had like the little curl. But then once they thinned it out for sure with that haircut and went a little shorter.
But this what he has on the reunion looks like what he had.
It doesn't look like day
season.
one Clint. It still looks like a mature.
Day one Clint looked really shaggy. Yes. But it felt like after he got back from the honeymoon, it felt like that was more of a sustainable Clint. And then they made it Bradley Cooperish or something, and then it looked weird to me. This Clint here on the reunion looked good.
Yeah. So because Gina says she has swag now, he has swag now. Kevin's like, well, how did you walk away from him? She's like, I guess I just missed the boat.
How did you let that get away, Gina?
Right. They're like, there was no romance there. And so Kevin's like, well, why were y'all in the friend zone? And she says they never felt that initial spark. Their communication was strong, and Clint says they had fun. They could joke together. They had Hank. I love how he included that. But it was just like the romance wasn't there. Then we get a flash. Or go ahead.
Yeah, I just wish they would say outright, yeah, we pissed each other off on the honeymoon and we never got over it.
Yeah, we couldn't get over that. Yeah. Clint said it later in so many words, but didn't say exactly that.
Yeah.
So we get a flashback to Clint's interview with Pastor Cal, where he's talking about like the types of women he's dated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, I dated, what did he say? They dated
short
small women.
Yeah.
He says mid-sized women as if he's talking about a 4-door sedan or a minivan or something. I've dated mid-sized.
Yeah, he's like basically describing the body types of women he's dated. And so Kevin's like, well, like that, okay, that's Gina, He's like, well, we just didn't jive in that way. He's like, Kevin's like, I feel like the experts nailed it.
Yeah.
Kevin Frazier.
You ordered this on the menu. They gave it to you. What's the problem? Her personality sucks. That's the problem, Kevin.
Kevin is operating from like the special before the premiere.
Before he knows anything about these people. Like before they've interacted.
Why didn't it work? Y'all, he even said at one point, y'all look so great together in front of me. Yeah, but did you see their personalities working with each other?
Their lifestyles are totally different, Kevin. What don't you understand about that? They just are not compatible in that way.
I just feel like no one in America or beyond, we're in Canada as well, Australia. I guess no one in the world is as confused as Kevin Frazier about Gina and Clint.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's caping so hard for Clint and Gina. I don't. Who wants them to get back together? Who is asking for this? Kevin's the only one.
Yeah, you don't even have Nicole rooting for this. No, that's when you know you're in the wrong. Mm-hmm. With wanting them to get back together. So Clint says that they did try. We get a flashback to the honeymoon about how they had to make it work because they didn't have any clothes. Because their bags didn't arrive. We find out that Clint also had a stomach bug, and so they just had to make do. And Gina's just like
riveting material.
Yeah, I know. I was like rolling my eyes through it. As if you can't see me. Literally, as I'm talking about this. So Gina says that they definitely had to make lemonade out of lemons, and Kevin's like, look at that. Even this. He's like, do y'all feel like y'all gave it your all? And they agree they say they do think they did give it their all. And Clint at this point says we had trouble early, so that didn't help. And we were just hanging on, thinking like we were missing something.
Clint does start with the we did all we could in the moment. Like I feel like he's saying, yeah, I didn't feel like giving it 100%, so I gave it probably about a 95, but that was my 100% at that moment.
Yeah. So then Kevin's like, oh, okay, could Clint have wooed Gina more? And he's like, well, I put in as much effort at that time. And
I wish you would also just say she didn't want to be wooed.
Right.
Why would I woo someone that didn't want to be wooed? That could bring charges.
Exactly. And he's like, since filming, we've been even closer. Oh gosh, Kevin.
Why would you say that, Clint? That's going to get Kevin started up.
Right.
See?
Yeah. So then Kevin's like, is there any chance that this could ever come back around? Clint's like, I don't know. She can answer that better. And she's like, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? Why are they doing this?
Gina said that is the burning question. That's not a burning question. No one has set fire to that question. That question has been cold. We have not even bothered to try to set that question on fire. We don't care. No one cares except Kevin. Kevin. Kevin's the only one with that burning question.
Exactly. So then Kevin asks again, is there a chance that he's like, maybe I can ask it in a different way.
I just want to get the answer I want. So I'm going to just phrase it any way I can.
Can we get y'all to kiss right now?
Make out in front of me right now.
Right.
I want to see why it didn't work.
Right. So he's like, is there a chance that this could be fixed? And Gina says, I just don't feel like there was any physical chemistry. But there is a ton I appreciate about him. And so then Kevin...
See? From that? She appreciates you, Clint.
Kevin asked Clint, do you feel like Gina was trying? And Clint says he doesn't feel like she was trying as hard as he thought she could have tried. He's like I would tell this like in-depth story in order for her to open up more and share more with me. And she was like, well, I guess I just wasn't picking up what he was putting down at the time.
You weren't trying to pick up anything Clint was putting down.
Right.
Clint put it down. He said,
nope.
He said, you expect somebody to pick that up or what?
Right.
It ain't gonna be me. You dropped something.
Right.
Well, we picked it up.
Yeah, it's like when Pepper and specifically Pepper. I was gonna say Pepper and Cinnamon, but Pepper is the one who fetches. Cinnamon does not fetch.
Cinnamon doesn't fetch?
She hasn't quite caught on to it. Like if I throw it, she'll grab it and go do her own thing with it. She doesn't return it to me.
What a diva.
I know, she does to throw again. But sometimes, like if I'm like, let's say I'm watching Married at First Sight and Pepper wants to play fetch and I'm not paying attention to her because I'm like taking notes and watching, she'll drop whatever she wants fetch right in my lap.
Hey, lady.
You're like, look, I want you to throw this. Please. I
know that you're engrossed in your terrible, toxic people right now, but I want to play. How about that?
No. Oh my gosh. The worst was I was on my. Oh my God. So I have a walking pad that's like a treadmill. So when I work, it's like, I was like, let me not. But it's important to the story. I can't leave that part out. So I'm on my walking pad, like working.
My walking pad, as you do.
Getting some stuff. Like I can't sit all day, every day, working from home, and so it really helps. So anyway,
is this like a treadmill desk? Or something?
It's a treadmill, but it's just the treadmill, no arms, and so I have it next to like my bar area, like in my kitchen.
Oh, of course, everyone has the bar area in the kitchen. Yeah,
So
the mansion kitchen, right?
I have my laptop there, and then I walk on the walking pad while I work.
Okay.
So the worst was I was doing that. Pepper wanted to fetch, And she has these little squeaky balls, and my mom got them. And she drops that on the treadmill while it's going. It gets caught in the
Oh
belt
no.
and went like all the way around and was like squeak, squeak, squeak. I was like,
I just wish you were walking. I just wish you were walking on it as it happened. And they
I
just stopped.
was.
It went like flying back.
I
or
had
something.
to jump off because I was like, what did you just do? Because I heard the squeaking and it got caught and then I had to pull it out. It's like, don't do that.
Pepper was like, well, maybe you should pay attention to me more and I wouldn't have to.
That was absurd.
Maybe you should play fetch with me more and I wouldn't have to drop stuff in front of you to give you an obvious hit, Mom. Don't blame me for your nonsense.
So I was just acting like Gina, not picking up what she was putting down. So anyway, Kevin asked, did building your business during the season make it harder? We've talked about this at length already, right? Thinking this was not the right time. But she said she was like, I lost $100,000 with a contractor. An employee quit last minute. And Kevin was like, well, yeah, we saw that.
Yep, we remember.
So she was like, focusing on her business at the time wasn't the hard part. The hard part was the curveballs that she got from her business. Tell me why this is the most we heard Gina talk in this segment.
Oh, of course, because it's about her business.
Yeah.
And she's like, building the business wasn't the problem. It was the curveballs. Well, that's part of building the business and why you should not have been doing that. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't have been doing that in the same time as marrying a stranger, Gina. That's what we're saying. That's what we're talking about.
And this is when she said, when emotions are high, intelligence is low. She probably says this at work to her employees.
And of course, her employees like, oh my gosh, so insightful. Gina, you're just the best boss anyone could ever ask for.
Yeah. If I said that on a work call, my coworkers would be like,
are you okay? Are you stroking out over there?
They would be like, Aysha, are you serious right now? Okay, so she said the marriage was a nice distraction during this time. Yeah, because you didn't care about it. You weren't invested. So Kevin asked, what else has been going on? She says she's happy. She's still processing a lot. He asked Clint. Clint is dating someone. And he has been traveling a lot. His new lady is passionate about life and he's been teaching her to sail. Was there any part
she's passionate about more than just her job, Gina?
Was there any part of you thinking like, is this dumb?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think they circle back?
No. Because if it was, the show would have spoiled it for us already. We would have already known. True. But Clint's like, yeah, I have this new lady. Clint, weren't you just, as Kevin's asking you if you could go back around, like, oh, I don't know. Maybe you should ask Gina.
Right.
I'm sure Clint's lady is thinking, what?
Like,
is that an option?
Like, Clint?
I thought we were doing something.
Right. Very confusing. Because
I don't know. I'm saying, I could go back with Gina.
I thought the same when Jasmine says she's with Friend Boy, but Era's got his arm all around her. I would be if I were Friend Boy, I would be like, Eris, can you back up? You are her ex-husband.
He's probably just off stage, like, get away from her. Don't
He's like,
get you. Do you feel like Eris is one of those people that now that Jasmine has moved on, he finds her more attractive now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Now I'm gonna take you from your Friend Boy.
He's like, I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden I'm kind of intrigued. Now I know what it is. She's not available.
Yeah, now that you're super unavailable, I find you attractive all of a sudden for some reason.
Right. So yeah, our next we move on to our next couple, which I was kind of surprised with Shaq and Kirsten. I thought they would have gone ahead and got Dom and Mac out the way.
Yeah, this is interesting. We also see a preview for next week that Mac and Gina are going to get their own segment.
Yeah. Well, is it their own segment or are they just now sitting together?
I think it was their own segment. I feel like I saw a wide shot of Kevin and Mac and Gina just sitting on the couch and they were the only people on set.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wonder why. Is it not Gina
Well,
didn't
we have to keep beating that dead horse of Gina and Mac because we can't leave well enough alone. I'm sure they're just going to tell us, "Oh no, we went on that date and really nothing much came of it."
Yeah. So we get Shaq and Kirsten. And Kevin asks, "How are y'all doing?" She says she's been working and traveling. She's about to go to Hawaii. Yes. I didn't hear her mention the party bus.
Yeah, I because like we said at the time, this is just like a BS kind of, you know what we should do? We should do a party bus. And then it just never got brought up again for like another 3 months. Remember we were going to do that party bus? Yeah, that was dumb.
You know how many like podcasts like in a group of friends that my group of friends like, oh, we should start a podcast. That I can't contribute to that kind of conversation. I do podcasts.
I'm an actual podcaster. It's insulting when you bring up these podcasts that you're never going to do.
I'm like, yeah, that would be fun. It look like let's actually make it happen. But it's those just like, oh, wouldn't it be fun?
We were just talking.
I'm like, okay, well, let me just focus on something else because I can't.
Let me know when you're real. Let me know when you got some real ideas.
Exactly. So what's new with Shaq? He said he decided to go back to therapy. He's trying to finish his doctorate degree. And Kevin's like, do y'all keep in touch? Shaq's like, we talk. And Kirsten's like, we have like little check-ins.
Yeah, don't make a song something that's not Shaq. Don't do that. Yeah. Kirsten's not having it at all, this reunion.
No. So we find out this is where he reveals he's in Austin now. So there is like a bit of a distance between Nashville and Austin. And she says, so, and then Kevin's like, oh, okay. So like you care about him, because she brings up how she reached out. She was like, well, I did reach out on when his grandmother passed. And then, well, they get more in detail about that later. But was this the part that he said? So you care about him?
No, it's a little.
It was a little later.
It's a little
okay.
bit. Yeah,
I'm blending those. Okay. So she just said they're cordial. They are very cordial. Mm-hmm. And so she said, because after decision day, I didn't want nothing to do with him.
Nothing.
She said I just had to release all those emotions and take a couple steps back. So she did say that there's been very little communication at first, and she tried to contact his grandmother. She tried to contact him.
She went to a medium to try to contact his grandmother.
She tried. I'm jumping ahead. Okay, she tried. She did contact him when his grandmother passed. She said she cooked, she cleaned, she checked on him, she made sure he had what he needed for work. She did laundry. She felt like she was doing what she needed to do as a wife.
Yeah. And so I mean, like all of us, she's unclear on why she is not, why he was saying she didn't give him support, because all that stuff is support.
Right. Exactly.
And he didn't deny any of that. He didn't say, oh, well, you didn't do that much. He was just like, yeah.
Support.
Yeah.
He's not explaining what support looks like for him.
His favorite word is support. Yeah, he cannot define it.
He's just like, what she's doing, I don't. That's not my definition of support.
Yeah.
And so Kevin was like, okay, so there's just some unresolved stuff that didn't get worked out. And Shaq was like, there were time constraints. I just feel like we didn't have enough time. Kevin was like, well, if only there was a way for y'all to have more time.
If there was just some word you could have said differently from the no you said to get you more time, that could have worked. But unfortunately, there's just no way to get more time. I don't know.
Yeah. So believe this is when we got the clips of them being on different pages. And
yeah, we see their mismatched communication.
Yes. And so Kirsten was like, yeah, it was just a roller coaster. Like we would film. Some days they would film and then they wouldn't even talk after they were done filming. And Shaq's like, I just feel like, I think that it would have been better if we were more honest about how we both needed to improve our communication with each other. Just
more gobbledygook, just more saying really nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get the flashback to them doing the strawberries and the kissing. And then Kirsten was like, it's just always so hard to read him. She was like, if he's not interested in something, he doesn't give it attention. And Kevin's like, do you feel like you were one of those things? She said, absolutely.
She said, duh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about, Kevin. I thought you could, kind of parse that information of what I was saying. But yes, if
Right.
you want me to say it out loud, I was one of those things he didn't pay attention to.
And he's like, no, I liked Kirsten.
No, don't say it like that. I liked you. I liked you the first time I saw you.
You're right. He does say, now looking back, he can acknowledge his flaws and how things made her feel. And she says she feels like that too. Like she feels like she could have accepted him more. And so Kevin says, so Shaq, why did you say no on decision day? And Shaq's like, I never even thought it would be a no.
I'm as shocked as the rest of you that it was a no.
Exactly.
What?
What are you talking about? So that was funny.
Well, I did like when Shaq says this. So Kevin interrupts Shaq, says, so what made it a no? That Shaq says, hey, I'm getting to it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Shaq. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. So because he said he thought it would be a yes all the way to decision day. That's when he snaps for Kevin on, interrupting him, getting to the point, goes to commercial, comes back. Shaq says, a prophet called me. Kev's like, whoa, wait, what? 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 Shaq, you're gonna have to tell me who this prophet is.
What or who is a prophet? Now, I did think in the moment, I thought Shaq was going to tell us something about like some vision he had, that some prophet came to him in a dream or a vision.
I thought that too.
And told him to say no to Kirsten. Kevin says, who are you talking about? Some guy in my PhD program.
Yeah, he was a pastor.
He's a pastor.
Because if you look up the definition of prophet, it's a person regarded as an inspired teacher or proclaimer of the will of God. So I can understand if you have gone to schooling in religious purposes, they probably use prophet often.
Yeah.
And so for him to say, and then Kev was just like, I think Kev thought exactly what you thought in terms of like a dream. Because whoa, man.
You're crazy.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Shaq? It was so like dramatic.
It was dramatic. Yeah, it was very dramatic.
I was like, because he wouldn't let him go on until
hold on, stop the presses.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yes. And so then he said this, this pastor in his PhD program called him, said, you got some important decisions to make, and it might be time to be selfish.
Oh, now is the time to be selfish because you haven't been doing that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I thought Kevin was gonna be like, so Shaq, does this prophet talk to you a lot inside of your head?
Is the prophet in the room with us now?
Is the prophet sitting next to you on the couch? You can't see him? Is he one of your friends?
Oh gosh. So Kirsten said she knew going into decision day that he was being indecisive. She didn't know whether he was going to say yes or no. And he's like, he says he wasn't sure he could be the husband that she wanted him to be and that she needed him to be. He feels like she just wanted her. He was like, this is absurd. Shaq felt like Kirsten just wanted Shaq to forget everyone else in his life and just be Shaq and Kirsten versus the world.
Okay. So much wrong with this. Yes. Shaq's interpretation of Kirsten saying she wanted to spend more time with him to get to know him because they are virtual strangers.
Literally.
Shaq interpreted that to say she wanted me to just give up everything and only think about her. Shaq, no.
No, she just wants you to give her an ounce of interest so that y'all could actually make this marriage work.
Right. She wants to get a glimpse of what married life could be with you. She wants to know you as a person because yes, there's this false 8-week timeline, but you do want a good sense of what you want to do by the time the 8 weeks is up. So she wants to spend time with you, get to know you, know what type of person you are. He's like, why would I want to do that? I got so much to do. I don't have time for you. He was so offended.
You expect me to stay up all evening talking to you, getting to know you?
Right. Why would I waste my time with that? And I mean, we've said all season that Shaq wants a trophy wife that he can tout around and say, "This is my wife." Hey, and he doesn't.
How dare her have any expectations of him?
And it seems like he doesn't want her to have a life of her own or have any thoughts or opinions or things to do. He just wants her to be his wife, and that's that.
Yeah.
That is her role, her job. That is who she is. And to Shaq. Shaq can have all these other things going on, but Kirsten just needs to be his wife.
Yeah. It gets worse, people, if you don't watch the episode. So he says he just felt like it was a lack of support. And Kirsten said he just didn't want to get married or be married. That's it. He did not want to be married.
Kirsten has had enough.
Yes.
Enough. You did not want to be married. You did not know what you wanted. You did not know what marriage is. You figured out what marriage was and you didn't want it.
You said, ugh.
Ooh.
Woo. So
I had to think about someone else. Ooh.
Like,
not for me.
Yeah, this is my marriage. It should be about me.
Yeah.
So he says he definitely wanted to be married. He just felt like him and Kirsten were not soulmates.
Listen, one of the few times that I'm going to agree with Kevin in this reunion, because Kevin was like, "Listen here."
Yeah.
He got up in arms and listen. You're shocker for you, Shaq. Most people are not going to marry their soulmates. It's not like you meet someone and it's going to be like, ah. I mean, I agree with that philosophy myself. How do you feel about that philosophy?
Oh no, I get it. Yes. I don't know where I stand with soulmates because I'm thinking like, okay, if everybody has one soulmate, then I'm thinking odds.
Yeah,
what
are
the
odds
you're
meet
in the
this person?
same? Yeah, you're gonna meet them. You're gonna be in the same place, like live in the same location. Like that would be wild.
Now, just for the record, so I can have it recorded, I am one of the few people that married my soulmate. In case anyone is hearing this at any time, I am one of those few people that actually married their soulmate. When me and my wife met, it went, oh, I'm one of the few, just to get that out of the way. But for most people, that would probably not be the case.
I do feel like
do you think you can turn someone into your soulmate?
I don't think you can turn someone into your soulmate, but I think that there are qualities that would make someone your soulmate. Yeah. That multiple people can have.
Yeah, I think the concept of soulmate is that you were born to be with each other. There was no, you and this person are the only people that are meant for each other. And yeah, as we said, the odds are not great that you're going to meet this person where you meet people that you're going to date. So yeah, the odds that you're going to be your soulmate are very few. Like I said, I am one of those few.
One of the chosen few. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think Kevin had a good point here. Kevin was right about this.
Absolutely. I think that Shaq has this Houston Ryan vision of just like he wants to be thrown against the wall when he gets home, you know?
Well, I think in Ryan's case, he was doing the throwing. I don't think he wanted Brett to throw him against the wall.
Yes. So then, he said him and Kirsten were not soulmates, and she says he's not going to get another Kirsten. He missed out.
I said, "Oh, confidence! I like it. Come through confidence."
Right. She's like, yeah, because like after decision day, he was saying like, oh, like if we would have stayed, like I would have stayed married if we could.
We could have.
Right. And she's just like, no, if you wanted to stay married, you would have stayed married. And she's like, he almost got strangled that day. She said, but thank God I was in my right mind. And so yeah, she says that she really wanted them to get to know each other outside of the cameras. And he says, well, I wasn't even confident that Kirsten would say yes until she said it. That's not the argument here. You're saying you didn't know you would say no until you sat down. Now
And-
it's you didn't know you would say no until you talked to the prophet. So what is it?
Shaq's always trying to blame something that's not himself. It's God, it's a prophet, something else is the reason he did something bad, not him. And he's like, I wasn't even sure if she was going to say yes, but she did. You had full knowledge that she said yes, and you still chose the path of violence and said no.
He's like, well, if she had gone first, then maybe I could have said yes. You're like, Shaq, she did go first.
You're like,
okay.
She did? Oh, I blacked that
You're
whole
right.
thing out.
Yeah. He's like, I
was just assuming
nothing.
that I said no because she didn't go first.
Oh my gosh. And so then let's see. So he said that he just needed more support and he wanted a wife that wanted to be a part of his life. He said they couldn't just like enjoy each other.
Because you were in your head. That's why you couldn't enjoy each other. Because I mean, listen, they were both ridiculous and very different parts. I think we're getting lost. I think we keep saying we keep talking about Kirsten as if she was this perfect person and perfect wife. She wasn't. But I feel like Shaq got lucky and got with someone that would tolerate him.
Could work with him, yeah.
Right. And would wait for him to get his ish together. So I do feel like in that regard, she was what he needed, and she was willing to do the things that he wanted her to do. He could have gotten with a lot of people that were not going to be going for that at all. That would have said no to him on decision day. So I think that's where we're getting a lot of this. He's never going to get another one like Kirsten, who's willing to put up with his nonsense. I think is what the subtitle to that is.
Yes. Like, I feel like Kirsten had the level of patience that he needs in someone.
Yes. Yeah,
that it might be hard to find.
She was willing to see the forest through the trees. She was willing to see what it could be and wanting to give that more time to develop. Not someone that would run away when he started, crying about not going to a Memphis trip when he did not communicate things the right way to what he even admitted himself.
Yeah. So she said how, it bothered her that he always mentioned, like, we got 8 weeks. And she's like, no, this is for a lifetime. And Shaq says, like, he didn't really even know what marriage looked like until he got into this. And he said, ultimately, he got in his head and he didn't think he was good enough for Kirsten. And she's like, you did that. You put that in your own head.
You did that to yourself, man. Don't put that on me.
I did not say that.
She wanted to make sure she got that in. She was like, you did that, not me.
Right. Making it clear. I did not tell Shaq he was not good enough for me. And he said he just didn't think he could make her happy. And that caused him to say no. Yes. So I don't know what I heard a couple weeks ago. Because remember I said like he didn't love her. So that's why he said no. But it was definitely like he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't think he was good enough for her.
Right.
He didn't think he could make her happy. So yeah, we kind of left off on a cliffhanger till next week.
Well, yeah, because Kev asked him, so do you regret it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's that look of Shaq, like, what am I going to answer? What am I going to say?
We
get left off on that. Yeah, I forgot.
But then you see, like in the previews, Dr. Pepper, I'm glad he regrets it.
Yeah, so they definitely just spoiled the whole thing.
They love to do that. They think, I don't know what they think. Do they think that we just mindlessly watch it and we don't try to like make sense of? Yeah. Like at least make sense of it.
The preview for next week is totally ridiculous because they are really trying to ratchet drama up where there is none, because they're taking whole phrases from obviously different segments and trying to mash them together to make any sort of drama.
Yeah. The thing that threw me off the most was the Pastor Cal saying, dude. That's all they show. Why are you trying to make Pastor Cal look mad? I'm sure he's talking about when I saw Shaq say no, I was like, dude.
Yeah. I forget what they mashed together to make it look like drama, but it was just you could see through the whole thing. It was total utter nonsense.
Yeah.
Dom is crying and Mac is like rubbing her back or something. I was like, oh, that's nice of
Yeah,
Mac.
that was interesting. Oh, Kirsten does end up crying. And I think that is while her and Shaq are still having their sit down. So I wonder what's going to bring her to tears.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't expect any real fireworks in this next part. There weren't any fireworks here, so why would there be in the next part?
Yeah.
It does look like Pia is sitting with Cal and Pepper. So I wonder if this is like a sign.
Please bring her in. I do genuinely like Dr. Pia. I feel like she's real, and I feel like she kind of brings that like that Dr. Viviana brought. Like Dr. Viviana was slightly different than Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal.
Kind of giving him the realness, kind of saying telling like it is, yeah.
Kind of like we know what to expect at this point from Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal. Whereas like sometimes Dr. Viviana would say stuff and I'm like, oh, okay. I feel like Dr. Pia can be that.
Yeah.
So please bring her on full time.
It definitely got lost in my notes, but you brought it up a little like in this segment where Kevin looks at Shaq's like, so, and you care about Shaq, right? And Kirsten just looks at him like, I don't know about that. Yeah.
That's why I thought it was at the part where she said we're cordial, because he's like, oh, so you still care, like y'all check up on each other, you still really care, right? And she's like, no, we're just very cordial.
Yeah, because she gives him the look. It's just like a 5-second look. I think you're saying too much. It's just, well, we're cordial. Let's leave it at that.
Right.
So that was definitely a fun. I don't know if Kirsten would even take Shaq back at this point. What do you?
I don't think so. I feel like
Shaq said, "Let's try this thing for real," she would say yes or no.
I feel like she would be like, "You don't even know what you want," because I feel like the profit thing was the first she's heard of that.
Yeah, he is totally just lost in his head.
Yeah.
He has just no idea what he wants, or he even admitted he didn't even know what marriage was, and he's ran into this blindly, apparently, not knowing what he wanted or needed. I feel bad for Kirsten because if it almost feels like almost every person in these couples, one person got really the shaft and short end of the stick, and got their time wasted.
Can I say? Because I don't think we have revisited this, but we do our ratings all season, and we did do final guesses. I was 100% right.
Here we go. Did you say he was going to say no?
I said Kirsten was going to say yes, and Shaq was going to say no, and you said that they were both going to say yes.
Well,
and
listen,
then Jasmine and Eris, I said both would say no. You said both would say yes. And then everybody else we were the same on.
All right. So this is a new segment where Aysha gets to gloat. I guess that's what we're doing now. Okay. Cool. Good to know.
As the winner of the predictions.
Yeah. You won the predictions. Good job.
Look, it's hard. It is very hard avoiding spoilers, especially with being so in tune with spoilers up until starting a podcast. I pretty much block MAFS fan. I mute everything, stories, posts. I don't go on Reddit. I try to stay spoiler free the entire season, which thankfully that has been the case for the past seasons, or from season 12 at least. So I am thankful for that. So I just want that to be on the record that this is an honest win.
I'm still holding on to my win from Love is Blind with Kwame, because I was the only one that said he was going to say yes.
You did say that.
I'll still hold on to that tightly at night while you get your little Married at First Sight wins.
Whatever makes you feel better.
And listen, I feel like I still won the Kirsten and Shaq one, because Shaq should have said yes, and we all know that.
Should he have, though? I feel like Kirsten is like, hindsight is 2020, and she's like,
Kirsten dodged a bullet. That's 100%.
I should have said no. What was I thinking?
You're lucky, Kirsten. You dodged that bullet. Yeah. He obviously has some issues. Still, what is it? 5 months later, they're still explaining to him, if you wanted more time, you just
could have had it.
Yes.
He's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
What?
No one told me.
What are you talking? This is the first I'm hearing of this. If I would have said yes, we could have stayed married. Is that what you're saying? Yes, Jack. That's what we're saying.
Oh gosh. So yes, this was part 1 of the reunion. We will be back for part 2 next week, and the Where Are They Now the following week.
Unless we Irish goodbye you, which is a possibility.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Don't sit on the edge of or what is it? Sit on the edge of your seat.
Don't hold your breath. Something.
Oh, don't hold your breath. That's,
Yeah.
that's it.
She's back, y'all.
Don't sit too close to the edge of that seat.
You might fall off. Waiting for us to come back.
Exactly. So yes, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Make sure you go join our Facebook group. Look up a Perfect Match podcast this week. The password is The Prophet. And of course, yeah, join us the next 2 weeks when we come back. Jason, what are you up to these days? I feel like you're very busy.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go into a pretty busy season in my podcasting life. I've got a couple shows I'm going to be talking about over on post show recaps. I'm going to be talking about the show Hijack with the man that every bride wishes they would see up on the altar, Idris Elba. I'll be talking about that with Marissa Garza, and I will also be talking about the show Secret Invasion, which Aysha will definitely not watch. It is a MCU property. We'll be talking about that with Sasha Joseph. You can find me on all those places. Coming up pretty soon on Crime Scene, talking about another true crime property. So check me out there coming soon.
We can't find out what it is?
It is... You know what? I kind of forgot because I haven't watched it yet. Give me 1 second. I can tell you. It is the case of something. It is the case.
Oh, is that on Netflix?
Yes. Take Care of Maya. That's what it is.
Oh.
Something about some little girl getting sick and the hospital took her little kid away from the family. I'll be watching it tomorrow. I'm talking to the Crime Scene crew, which is 2 faithful guests of this program, Mari Forth and Sarah Carradine. I'll be talking to them about that, so check that out coming soon. What about you, Aysha?
Yeah, so most recently I was over on Rob Has a Podcast talking about some Big Brother. We did since Big Brother is not coming on until August 2nd this year, we're having some fun off-season coverage. So we did a draft of all of the winners. Look, I was just trying to have fun, okay? So if anybody has anything to say about the people that I drafted, I was just having a good time.
They're coming after you in these Twitter streets.
They really are. They need to chill out. Let's see. It's slow right now with Big Brother being off. I feel like it's just Married at First Sight. The ultimatum is done. So we had a great time doing that. I'm sure After the Altar is going to be coming up because they have already announced season 5 of
It's when I give you a break.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what break, if any, we get with Married at First Sight. But yeah, with Love is Blind, I'm sure After the Altar for season 4. I don't even know if I'm getting my seasons mixed up now. But After the Altar season 4, I think Love is Blind has only had 4 seasons, I think. I can't remember. But the next anyway.
So many numbers to keep track of.
I think the next season premieres in September. And so I'm sure After the Altar will be in between for this past season. What?
Yeah, I just wanted to say shout out to all those in the Facebook group and everyone that contacted me about the neg gate.
Yeah.
Who encouraged me to keep negging Aysha. He said it wasn't negging, is not a problem. So I will be back to my regularly scheduled negging of Aysha, as we go along. Yes.
But yeah, anything else I'm on, you can definitely follow me on all socials at Aysha Like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. So yeah, we will definitely be back next week. So we will see y'all then. Bye.